Sego, Sebuguego, Ogistalio, Neyangyats, Dascololo, Waganyakta, Osege to Gana, or Oswego to Ganagale, Wihikanji, Wagatsanuni, Ni Ga'a, Idawisnor. Hello, everybody. Ogistalio is my Onkwehonwe name, and my English name, or my POW name, is Melissa, or everybody calls me Missy Elliott, but no, I'm not the rapper, unfortunately, but I'm working on that. The whole theme of this event, the water and the commons and everything, really is another way of talking. We word it differently in our language. You guys are talking about the same ideas in a different language, really, from what is our own traditional values as Onkwehonwe. And when I say that word Onkwehonwe, that's our way of saying indigenous or people of the land. I don't really like the words First Nations or Aboriginal or anything like that. I like to use my language Onkwehonwe. As indigenous people, our relation to the land is very, very sacred to us. It's not just physical. When we come to talking about these things, talking about the water, talking about the effects of Line 9, of these mining projects, of these nuclear energy, all of these things, we're not just talking about the physical effects that this is having on us, because it doesn't just have physical effects on us. What you have to understand with the Onkwehonwe, with our people, this affects everything, every way of life, everything about who we are, everything. Because everything about who we are is tied to the land, everything. Our language is tied to the land. Our ceremonies are tied to the land. Our spirituality, everything about who we are, our history is tied to this land. Our medicines, everything. We know this land. We know this water. That everything, we were here so long ago. Our history is tied to this land. So the death of this land is the death of our people. Without this land, we don't exist. So when we are fighting for this land, when we're fighting for this water, we're not just fighting against something, we're fighting for something. We're fighting for the right for us, for me to stand here today and be able to say, Ogistalio ne yangyats, Daskololo, Waganyakta. The right for my child, who I just gave birth to 4 months ago, to be able to say the same thing, and her children, and her children's children. That's what we're talking about. And these idea of the commons, that's something that we've had a long time ago. That's something that's traditional to us. We held things in common. And when people say, oh, we can't do that because of human nature and we're all naturally greedy and all that kind of stuff, I say, that's bullcrap. I would swear, but I know I might get in trouble for that, but that it is, because it's happened, that our people have proved that we can do that. And we have done that. But with what's going on, with this relationship, with the separation of what's going on with the system, the separation of people from the land, that's where it's been happening. And who's been getting affected by this the most is indigenous people. The tar sands is termed as slow industrial genocide. That's what's happening. Slow industrial genocide. It's destroying every aspect of who we are. The right to be who we are. And indigenous people are people being most impacted by that. The Yinka Dene, the Athabasca Chippewas. These are the people who are living there, whose history are there. These are my friends. I went up there for the healing walk. I've seen these things. It's disgusting. It's not just slides. This is what's happening to our water. If you want to talk about water, this is what's happening to our water. And it's opening up doorways for policies that the Canada is putting in place. This isn't something happening in Alberta. This is opening a doorways to put policies right here in your backyard. This is not something far away. And this is what's happening with the Wet'suwet'en camp out in BC. They're the ones indigenous people putting their bodies on the line to stop these pipelines. They're putting their bodies on the line because that's how important it is to our people to be able to keep this identity, be able to keep who we are, to keep this land. We are the sacred. We are the gatekeepers of the most pristine places on this earth, and it is our responsibility and duty. It's not in the BC Indigenous nations turning down millions of dollars put forward to them by these energy companies, saying, "Here, shut up," and turning them down, saying it's not about the money. Line 9 it's bringing this fight out here directly to your backyards. It's threatening the Thames, the St. Clair, and the Grand River. The Grand River is, we have, as Haudenosaunee people, because I am Haudenosaunee, we have the Haldimand Proclamation. The Haldimand Proclamation, for those of you who do not know, is we have 6 miles on either side of the Grand River from the mouth to the source. And that was a treaty that was made by our Confederacy Council and I guess the British Crown, which transfers over to Canada. And this hasn't been followed, but this is the tools we have to fight with. We also have the Nanfan Treaty, which is our right to hunt and fish. These things are threatening those rights, and also the need to consult and accommodate, which is being just diminished and stepped all over by Enbridge and these companies. But what I'd like to say is because of Indigenous people are being most impacted by that, but it is because of Indigenous people that they're making such headway with the Northern Gateway, with the Keystone XL, with the tar sands, and getting the debate out there and getting action happening and turning these things around. It is because of Indigenous people and the relationships being made between Indigenous people and our allies in environmental organizations and with Canadian citizens, with different politicians, is because of those connections that are being made. Indigenous people are the key to knowing the water, to keeping the water, and to protecting the water. Line 9, and what I like to say, Line 9, Indigenous people are so important. We see this with the Idle No More movement, how the issues have been brought to the forefront over this past while. How our issues and the issues of the environment have been brought to the forefront. And but what is really needed is partnership between our peoples. What we've had between our Haudenosaunee people and with your people was the Two-Row Wampum, which is we both are on 2 vessels, and between us is peace, respect, and friendship. But the thing is you're in your boat and we're in our canoe. We're on the same river. We need to keep that river, and it's both of our responsibilities. But we need to help each other. With this Line 9 and with these tar sands movement, what it's been doing is the tar sands needs these pipelines. It needs these pipelines in an economic way because it needs to expand to the international market. And so it needs these pipelines to get it to that international market. But what they didn't realize with these pipelines is how it would connect our movements all throughout North America. It's been connecting our people. And it's connecting us all over. And right now, this is an opportunity to connect us to out west, to connect us to the U.S., and to connect us from Six Nations, from Aamjiwnaang, from Akwesasne, from Ganawage, from Tyendinaga, from all of these different all these different Indigenous communities, from Toronto, from Montreal, from London, from all of these different communities that Line 9 is touching. This is an opportunity for us to come together, to unite against this, and to unite for our water, for the land, and for those things that we hold in common. Whether or not the government recognizes that, we can recognize that we hold it in common. And but we need your help. We need your help. And us personally, on the Indigenous side of this thing, we not only have these issues to deal with about the environment and saving who we are from these huge corporations, we also have the social impacts of residential schools to deal with, the poverty and all of those things. And so we need your help. We need your organizational help to get these campaigns going. And we have, what we're doing right now is we're getting a Line 9 Indigenous campaign going going, because what they're doing is they're hoping and relying on the fact of our ignorance. That's what they're hoping for. And so we're getting the education out there, and we're doing a Line 9 Indigenous speaking tour, going to every single Indigenous community that you've seen on that Line 9. And we're going out there and we're bringing speakers from Alberta, we're bringing speakers from out west, and from where Kalamazoo, where the pipeline broke. And we're bringing them out here to speak to every single Indigenous community, to speak to the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and make tides, huge tides on this movement, and to get this education going, because we need more Indigenous people involved with this, because there is no education out there. And we have to do that. And we need to connect these together. But we need your help. We need all of your help. Your help, your help, your help. We need everybody's help here. And so if you'd like more information on what we're doing to create an Indigenous awareness campaign, you can connect with me or Sakura or anyone at the back. She's got her hand up there. But we need your help, because we need to get this going and unite. And this is a huge opportunity to unite together. And I'd really like to thank everyone for coming here, and to really, for taking that stand to actually prioritize this land and prioritize our waters and what's really important for our future generations. Nyawagoa.